And it is such a pleasure and an honor to bring up for you guys tonight Tom Curren and his son Patrick. They're going to play some music for us.
Struggling to get by, worrying about tomorrow. The pleasure rain fell through. Don't know what to do where you go. Can I follow? Summerland road, stranded in the rain. Come on home. Hand will go. We'll understand what we want to know. A blessed day when you decided to redeem a life divided. To shake those feelings, the mistakes that we made. I need you to stay. It's raining out this evening. Summerland road, stranded in the rain. Come on home. Hand in hand we'll go. Understand what we should know. Love was born before we met. We gotta take care of it. Sometimes it won't come natural. Love, I need you to get on and leave you fragile. Summerland road, stranded in the rain. Come on home. Hand in hand we can go, and we understand. Thank you all for letting us come down here and visit you. It's a great part of the world. We're very happy to be here. Always want to come down here, spend a lot of time here when I was younger, and it's great to see some old friends again. I'd like to thank Pat Curren over here on the guitar. And,
Thank you. You guys stoked to be here? You know, it's funny because, so I'm sure most of you know who Tom is, but some people, if you're not a surfer, I interviewed Tom a long time ago for one of our movies, and I'm like, what's it like, Tom, being like so famous and everywhere you go? And he said, well, actually, it's only when there's surfers around. Like, it's actually like I can go other places where there's no surfers and they don't know who the heck I am, you know? So it's kind of funny when he said that. I was like, the surf in the surf world, we think we have this huge industry, this huge sport, and it's big. But I mean, it's just Tom, like the best surfer in my opinion of all time, was like, it's not that big actually, Bryan. Like our group's not that big. I'm like, okay, fine. But for those of you that don't know, you know, Tom's 3-time world champion. But more than that, Tom, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, was the best surfer for a very, very long time. Maybe to this day, people would still say he's the best ever to live, but I think most people would say that Kelly Slater's done a pretty good job as well. But all that to say, when I was learning to surf right down here at La Jolla Shores, and I started competing and wanted to be a pro surfer, Tom was who I looked up to, and I did the same thing. I kind of copied his style. I tried to surf like him, and I think everybody did. But my background, I just want you guys to know that for me, I did not grow up in a church. I did not grow up in a Christian home, really. I started going to a surfer's Bible study when I was in high school down by Windansea, just because they had free pizza, really. And I was like, okay, and there's some cool people down there, so I'm going to go get some free pizza and see some cool people. But I ended up, when I showed up to events like this, there was something in the room. There was something that I could just feel it. There was something different, and I came to know it was God. It was God's Spirit. It was God that was speaking to me through this awesome surfers Bible study. Basically, what it was. From that point forward, I ended up wanting to start a surf school. So I ended up starting this little surf school. And be careful when you think that taking one small step is something small, because every step of faith is very significant. Because that surf school turned into 23 years of a surf school, and then that surf school turned into producing movies. And Ed, I made one movie with Tom, was actually in that one as well. And then Ed said, let's make a movie. We called it Changes. We're going to show you pieces of that movie tonight. And then Ed called me recently, and it was 20-something years later, and he said, let's do Changes 2. In the meantime, in the last 20-something years, I produced 12 different surf movies, and they were all faith-based, just like not in a weird way, but we just wanted to share what we believed and what God had done in our lives. And of course, I called Tom, and he was in most of the movies. And not only that, but Rip Curl, his main sponsor, would want him, and all his sponsors would want him to show up at all these events. And sometimes, they'd be like, where is he? Where is he? He's supposed to be on this flight. And I would invite him to events, and he would be there every time. And so Tom has been at one of our, the ministry was called Walking on Water, and we had a walking, I think Tom, I haven't added it up, but it's probably 50 to 100 events, something like that, over the past 20 years that we've done together. And awesome, like in Australia and France, and I mean, all over the place. And so tonight's special because I haven't seen Tom and Mackie and Pat in a while, so just as friends, it's so great to see them. But I want to give you guys a little bit of our history, a little bit of our background. And then I also just have this on my heart. You know, in a group this size, there's no way that everyone's doing great tonight. Like, there's just no way. There's no way that in a size this big that everyone's just like, yeah, I'm so good. Like, everything's perfect in my life. So I just want you to know that we're stoked to have Tom here, but Tom and I and all of us this night is so that we can all be encouraged. So maybe, you know, especially the person in this room that might be going through some really tough stuff, I hope that through this time and talking with Tom, the movie, and just being here together, you'll be reminded that even though we go through really difficult times, God's got a plan, you know, and God can get you through this, and like, He's going to get you through it. So anyway, all that to say, I'm going to stop talking, but I want to give you a little bit of the background. What would you share with someone, or maybe a better question would be like, what do you do when things get tough? Because I don't know, I just sense that there's a lot of people that have been going through, you know, always some difficult times. You know, what do you do in those moments? Like, what keeps you like moving forward?
It's another very good question. Mostly I isolate and get depressed. That's what I
Does that work well? Like, to get really like just really alone, really like keep the negative thoughts going, like more negative thoughts, more alone.
do. Generally, that's what I do.
That's what you do. Tom, can you like lie and like pick up like, you know?
I would say this, it's not funny, because it really isn't funny, and God is there for those who are isolated and depressed, and it happens definitely. You know that He's there, always, still there, even when those troubles are happening.
No, for sure. We've all been there, you know, we've all been there. I've definitely been there. There's moments where you're just like, whoa, this is so tough. And that's when you might not feel like God's there, but He's there, you know. So, yeah.
Anyways, to say that, you know, I've had this, you know, uphill struggle and stuff like that, we've really been blessed. And, you know, for the most part, I can say that, you know, I feel very lucky. You know.
Well, no, and it's, you know, it's incredible. There's millions. I say that we're a small group of people, surfers, but it's not that small. I mean, there are millions of surfers on the planet, and to have a gift and a talent and it, I'm trying to remember the question. I loved your answer. I just want to. You talked about earlier what it takes to be successful, and there's the faith element, and there's also the other elements. So, what does it take? What did it take for you to win 3 world championships? Was it just super easy, and you're just so talented, and so you just did it, or like, what did it take to get those done?
Yeah, you do have to do a lot of work. It's, you know, if you don't, you won't be able to get to where you want to go. And a lot of times, you know, there's setbacks. You may have an injury. You really gotta, you know, really stay focused and not get any, you know, distractions. And just, it's kind of, and I guess it's a bit of a paradox because you have to focus on yourself a lot, but that's kind of goes against the, you know, the faith in as well, but in a certain way. But I guess the part about sports is that you have to really, what we've talked about earlier, you have to really grab and grab really strong, but you have to be able to let go in a way, and it's kind of this, it's this very specific part of, I guess, trying to do well in sports is that you really, when it all works out, you know, you've done all the hard work, but when the actual, you know, those victories come, it's more, you kind of somehow, you don't remember exactly what happened, and you just kind of like, in the moment, you know, these kind of phrases come up, and so that's what, you know, what everybody who competes and wants to do well, that's this pretty difficult, challenging goal, because it's very, it's elusive, I guess, and you know, you can't just have it all the time. It's not so easy.
I had a big problem as a pro surfer, and that was that there's big waves. So how did you get over your fear of big waves? Because I don't think I ever did. And I have a funny story about me and you at Pipeline that I'll tell about in a second. But how did you get over it? I mean, because a lot of people grow up in California, the waves get big here, but if you always at La Jolla Shores, you know. So how did you end up surfing big waves and being
Blacks,
but you don't go to Blacks, you just go to La Jolla Shores. But who did someone push you or help you or like encourage you? Like, let's go surf big waves, Tom. Come on, it's time to surf some big waves. Or did you just do it?
You know, like when you talk about big waves, like there's big wave, medium wave, monster waves, you know, like there's different realms, right? So the monster waves, I've never really done that. You know, like I say, I've been in some pretty big waves. Not the, you know, the really big stuff, you know, but I had one time we were competing and waves were big and everybody else was sort of like not going outside, so I went outside and I won that, so that helps. But I think overall,
I was the guy on the inside, like, I'm not going out there.
But nobody had the boards, and you know, I borrowed a board and I went out and got one wave and I won, so it was pretty cool. But you know, I think overall, you know, there's just the technical way to go about it is just work your way up incrementally. You know, just jump in and get traumatized and finish forever. You know, you want to have little crises.
Little traumas, like mini trauma. I want to
Those
die.
are going to be good. They're essential.
This quick story. So I muster up all the courage I possibly had, and I paddle out to Pipeline. It's normal for Tom. That's like no big deal. I'm just going to surf Pipeline. Those of you who don't know what Pipeline is, it's one of the most dangerous waves in the world on the north shore of Oahu, and you need to work your way up to it. And I never got comfortable there. That's for sure. And this was a big day, and I decided to go out for some reason. And then you can kind of paddle out easy, which is a bummer, because that means people get out there like me. They should not be out there. And I'm sitting there on my board, scared to death, like scared to death. And I'm sitting there, and Tom and I have been friends for a while at this point. But even as friends, you know, we don't talk that much, and especially we're out surfing, we're just like focused on surfing. Well, he paddles out. And he's like, hey, Bryan. I'm like, hey, trying to pretend like I'm calm. And it's like 15-foot, like big waves, and they're powerful. And this huge wave comes straight to me, which I would normally be happy about, but I was scared. And I think Tom knew this. And he was like over there, and there's all these pro surfers, me over here where you sit if you're scared, and then Tom over here. And Tom, never has he yelled or like spoken loudly. I've never heard it in my life. But he decided this day, he goes, Bryan, go! I'm like, did Tom Curren just tell me to go on a wave at Pipeline? And I was like, pretend I didn't hear it. He's like, Bryan, go! I'm like, no, it's cool, you go. And he goes on the wave. He comes back out, and I'm just scared to death. And again, a wave comes to me. He's like, Bryan, go! And this time I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to go. So I paddled, and I somehow made the drop, and like went straight to the beach. I was so happy that I lived, you know? So anyway, that was my Tom story. Another one, our first movie, we went to the Canary Islands, and the waves got huge one day. I'm like, I'm not going out there. Tom went out, and there's photos of Surfer Magazine of me standing on the beach watching Tom surf the wave. I'm like saying sorry to my sponsors, like, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that, you know. Anyway, but it was just funny. Okay, couple questions. Does anybody have some questions for Tom out there?
You can take like 4 competent surfing friends to any break and nobody's out. It's just you and your 4 buddies just going to it. What surf spot would you choose and why?
Good question. Wow.
I'd say Jeffreys Bay. Not that you asked me, but I'm going to say Jeffreys Bay, South Africa.
Jeffreys Bay is pretty good, yeah. I was thinking like a beach break, you know, yeah, you know, rights and lefts. But yeah, Jeffreys Bay, that's good. I don't know, that's a tough one. I don't know the answer to that one.
Okay, one more? Yes.
Yeah, Tom, thank you. You've helped us all imagine surfing, so
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I wanted to ask you about your dad, who's very beloved in the San Diego community, who's inducted to the Surfing Hall of Fame. And, you know, if there's any favorite local area that you admire for surfing, I'd love to hear anything about that as well. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Yes, my dad passed on last year, so it was hard. And he did really a lot for the sport of surfing. I don't know if many people realize, you know, he was in his kind of his period, his late 50s, you know, testing the limits of what can be done in the North Shore of Hawaii and finding out, you know, what the boards are not working, which basically all the boards were not working. From California at least, you know, the Hawaiian surfers had better boards. I think, and then, you know, he went back after a year of marginal, whatever, success in the surf and designed his boards for the following year and went back and kind of, you know, he totally made history with everything. He would take me out at Sunset Cliffs, and that was some of my favorite memories, surfing my pops at Sunset Cliffs there. We were in one of the middle or kind of breaks, and it was uncrowded. There was like hardly anybody out, and he was born in the 30s, and in San Diego, I just tried to imagine what growing up in San Diego, in the middle of all these, you know, there was a couple of wars there, you know, going on. You know, there was like in the Navy, you know, the presence of this huge, massive technology. I don't know. It's just the culture, the San Diego thing, and growing up back then, and so they missed the draft, you know, being born in the 30s, so they would miss it all the way through to the drafting situation with everybody, and I'm sure it was on the minds of those guys, you know, his age group, and they were sort of like, well, are we going to get sent off? I mean, I don't know, I'm thinking, I've never really talked to him about that, but, you know, they had a lot of energy, they took that to Hawaii, and you know, made some great friends over there, and you know, I could just, you know, I miss my dad, you know, and I guess, what else can he said he seemed to have the right word at the right time, I guess. Not a lot of words, but and he wasn't like super critical of people. I mean, there's other things. He did a lot.
Yeah, bro.
What's one of your favorite verses in hard times, and maybe one of your favorite verses just overall, anytime?
Psalm 23 is good. That one is a good one. Lord is my shepherd. Favorite verses, and we were talking about the one that I can do all things. Christ who strengthens me.
Anything else you'd like to share?
Well, I just want to share that I'm very glad to be here. I'm glad to be hanging out with you, and we did some some traveling and stuff, and it's been great to see how your your devotion is translated to a great thing for the community and for kids in particular. So I think, thank you for that. I thank the Lord for that.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. Well,